Hello and welcome to Postcolonial Space. I'm Masood Raja, and this video is in my series of videos where I actually answer some of your research questions. And if you are not familiar with it, I had recently posted a video in which I had asked you to post your comments by way of questions about your current research, and I had promised that I will answer those questions. And I've been answering some of those questions in the comments, but today in this video I will answer one question or set of questions by one of the subscribers because I felt like it needed a detailed answer. And please also bear in mind that if you are not the person who asked this question, you can still make use of this video because I will try to make sure that I also explain the general implications of whatever I'm going to explain for anyone else who might be conducting research on slightly similar lines. So if you're curious about the video in which I had invited your questions and everything else, it will come up there, and I'll also post it in the description, and please feel free to post your research questions there. And as promised, I'll either answer them in the comments or record a separate video to answer your questions. Now, this particular question came from Pakistan, and the question was about how to use biopolitics and necropolitics in writing a master's thesis or a dissertation, I think. So my suggestions are that in order to clearly understand biopolitics, of course, you have to read Foucault. And you have to also understand that the early Foucault is different from later Foucault. So the early archaeological Foucault, the main concept there is disciplinarity, right? Discipline and Punish, and a few other books, Birth of the Clinic. What Foucault is trying to theorize is how power shapes individual bodies, the docile bodies. The later Foucault, especially History of Sexuality, Volume 1, is what we call genealogical Foucault. And there Foucault tracks the impact of power on larger bodies of human beings, right? But even in Discipline and Punish, this concept does come up. And that Foucault, we call him the Foucault of governmentality, right? And the actions that power takes on are in the name of life. That's why it becomes biopower and biopolitical. And what does it mean is that the sovereign, the figure of the sovereign, instead of claiming the right to kill, right, to punish, takes up this discursive role as a life-giving force, right? So power then articulates itself as a life-giving thing. The policies, the rules are governed by suggesting to people that we are doing all of this to make your lives better, to protect your lives, and that ultimately then creates its other, right? Those who are outside of the civilized society, those who are deviants, those who are a threat, right? And then the promise of the sovereign or promise of the power is that we will make your lives better and keep these people out. And that then perpetuates certain modalities that government must follow. It must then have certain rules of citizenship. It must have ways of counting people so that the in-group can be separated from the outer group. So general census becomes a huge thing. Policies of controlling, proper sexual behavior against deviant sexual behavior, and the sexual deviants are then posited as a threat. All of this falls under the general gambit of biopolitics. Now, necropolitics as a term is what Agamben discusses within the context of Africa, and that is the destructive force of power and death as a mode of controlling a population, or fear of death. That is what he calls necropolitics. Of course, you can read it clearly if you read Agamben. But there are two other people whom you can read, right? And that is Giorgio Agamben, Homo Sacer, but also his general discussion of what constitutes bios, qualified life, and zoe, bare life, and the distinction between the two, which ones are the right holders in a given society and which ones are the passive right holders. And that distinction, it's only the passive right holders who become objects of thanatopolitics, politics of death. And other subtle rereading of Agamben you will find in Roberto Esposito's work, who goes and reads Agamben's discussion of bios and zoe, right? And his book is called Bios. So all these people combined then, if you read them carefully, then you will be able to discuss any topic, fundamentalism, governments, local violences or anything within this larger structure of bios. What does it mean? Biopolitics, right? And necropolitics and thanatopolitics. I will post the links to these books in the description, but as you might already have noticed that I have not gone into a lot of details of the concepts themselves, because the answer here to the particular question is what kind of sources to use. But I've also left room in this video for anyone else who might have come to this video looking at the title and thumbnails to at least get a bare understanding of these concepts, and then get a little bit of guideline to follow in reading some of the texts that could be useful in understanding these concepts. So that's all I have by way of an answer to this question. Now, just to repeat myself again, the video where I had opened up this channel to your research questions is in the description, the link. Please watch the video and then post your links if you feel like it. And if I can answer those within the comments, I will do that. But if a question is too complex and needs a supplementary video, I will record a video just like this and post it by way of an answer to you specifically, but also for other people to use and benefit from. That's all I have. Thank you so much. And if you have a moment, please do subscribe to the channel. And as always, I'm grateful for your presence in my life. And I will see you next time. Until then, peace and love.